Oh, just to double check,
I'm
someone
done.
say something real quick.
Hello?
Cool.
Something.
All right, our stream is up and running, and we are back with Ghosts in the Dark. We are continuing our playtest of a brand new work in progress system. It's a little bit Monster of the Week, a little bit Vampire, a little bit Blades in the Dark, a sprinkle of Pokemon across the top. It's a little of everything. Our story follows a clan of supernatural entities of disparate origins and types who have banded together in what we're calling the Greenbrier faction, named after the town in which they started. They are trying to carve out a slice of the city of New Athens. They are different sorts of entities, but what they have in common is they all need essence, some kind of belief, spiritual force, vitality that they can only draw from mundanes, good old regular humans. Some of them are guardian spirits who rely on veneration and awe. Some of them feed on terror. And of course, there's the Wendigo who just straight up eats people. And his people eating ways came back to haunt him. The clan has been rapidly expanding as they as a werewolf and vampire basically war has broken out in New Athens. And in the chaos, the clan has acquired several new territories. But the Wendigo's feeding habits have not gone unnoticed. A band of hunters ambushed him and carried him away to a secretive hideout. The rest of our party was setting up negotiations with a group called Deep Ones, a faction down by the docks. They're trying to figure out what to do about this sort of these encroaching werewolves, some of these territories that are in flux. There is an important negotiation tonight, but first they have to save the Wendigo. So, we are going to pick up right there. So to set our scene, we have Zenith, the Raiju, a sort of local deity, a thunder feline spirit. We have the Church Grim, a being of sort of days of yore who watches over cemeteries and graveyards and feeds on sort of mournful veneration in exchange for protecting those places. We have Teddy, the haunted doll, not a teddy bear, a creepy porcelain doll with a broken face and something dark and awful lurking inside. And finally, the Wendigo, known to some as Trevor, who unfortunately has been picked up by this band of hunters. Our rescue party of the Grim, Zenith, and Teddy have followed the trail and found a deserted farmhouse deep out in the woods past the edge of town. They stalked down a country road, made their way to this farmhouse where the Wendigo is being kept, disarming some simple traps along the way. What they didn't realize is that the traps were simple because they were a distraction. A powerful enchanted trap has been laid over the area, and now the house has been warned. They are on full alert. They are armed and armored hunters, and some kind of powerful sealing enchantment has been layered around this place. So, let's actually start with the Wendigo. So, Wendigo, you come to and find yourself in a dark basement room. The room is not even finished. Parts of it are like are concrete. Parts of it just seem to be like packed earth. Maybe this is like a partially finished like cellar. You have been tied to a chair. The room is not even illuminated. It's pitch black in here. What would you like to do?
Well, is there like anyone in here in the room with me?
Give me a study check. So that's going to be
So
plus mind.
all right, 2d6 plus mind.
Yep.
All right, all right. I don't know why I forget everything, but
No worries.
get past this.
All right. What was your total?
3 double ones.
Woof. All right.
I can't catch a break.
You normally have a number of superhuman advantages at your beck and call. You have sort of the senses of a hunter. You have superhuman strength. Normally, being in the dark like this wouldn't be an issue for you, but you feel a sort of oppressive force. Something is dampening the things that make you more than just a mortal. So you spend some time sort of trapped in the dark here. You occasionally hear people moving around upstairs. So you can't see, but you do hear something in the distance. What do you want to do?
Well, with being tied up and starting to get really angry, we're about to have a snow.
All right.
I think it's snow day time.
So let's figure out how to parse this. So you're going to spend essence. So you feel this oppressive force. Roll. That's invoke plus mind, so 2d6 plus mind. But you're actually going to roll 3 dice, and you're going to drop the highest.
Hmm. I'm gonna drop a 6, 7. Mine's 1, 8.
Nice. So you feel that pressure, whatever that is sort of sapping your strength, but you manage to press through. So you are able to create localized freezing weather in this sort of narrow area. So you're going to have +1 ongoing, and other creatures are going to find it difficult to move about freely. So we cut upstairs, and you all followed the Wendigo scent to this place, but maybe on some level you weren't really sure if you had found the exact spot. And then suddenly you're in a snow globe. Frigid winds and snow and ice start pouring out of nowhere, and they are constrained by this barrier that you're in. Suddenly, this whole space is a semisphere of white, swirling, icy particles. So you've created a massive hindrance for the enemies upstairs. So let's jump back to the rest of the crew. So when we left off, you all were out in front of the house towards the end of this road. These huge runes had lit up, carved into trees all along this space. There are now hunters in the house who have drawn weapons. You see a couple of other buildings out to the back. There's several like pickup trucks and SUVs along here. What do you all want to do?
Well, first we're taking cover, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, is there any way to destroy the runes or anything?
I just created cover. You have a snowstorm now. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help you all. Yeah, so Zenith, give me a study check to figure out what is happening here.
Okay, so study would be
Plus mind.
would mind. Oh, okay. I got a 3.
Oh no! What is
I'm not
happening with
doing
your
well.
all's rolls?
I'm struggling.
Oof. So I think you're trying to investigate one of these runes. And as you sort of run your magic over it, your sort of lightning nature gently sort of sparking and clashing with the sealing magic. The rune just illuminates for a moment. It becomes a lot brighter. And suddenly, you are backlit and a very clear target for someone inside the house. They don't catch you fully, but you're going to get hit for 2 harm. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So, can I see like dark spots in the house?
Yeah, I think so. Even though parts of the house are illuminated, even though parts of the house are illuminated, there's still like some dark spaces. So, are you wanting to use your shadow walk?
Yeah, I want to use my shadow walk to come up behind one of the hunters.
Yeah, go for it. You are able to just sort of disappear into your own shadow and reappear inside the house. Do you want to? Are you going to make an attack?
Yeah.
Cool. Which attack are you using?
I am using. There's a good amount to pick from. I think I want to use the ice attack.
Noise. All right. So that's going to be an attack roll plus mind.
2d6. That'd be a 9.
All right, on a 9. So you inflict harm, and they inflict harm on you. So with your frigid bite, you clamp down on this hunter, and this icy magic flows through you and creeps over this guy. So your fangs crunch, and instantly the blood that is unearthed freezes, and it starts to sort of spread this crystalline sheen over this hunter. They are hindered. They are going to have trouble moving from this spot. So you're going to deal 3 harm to them, but they are going to turn around and shoot you. Let's see. And you don't have any armor. So they're going to shoot you for 3 harm. So the rest of you all see this at a distance.
What did we see?
It's almost sort of unreal. The sound of the gun firing is off in the distance. You just see the Grim dissolve, and then in the same instant, he is in one of the rooms, clamping down on one of the hunters, shaking with these massive jaws. The hunter does not die instantly, but they are very hurt. There are other hunters now. Some of the ones who were at the windows turn at the commotion, and they're going to start heading towards the Grim. What do you want to do, Teddy?
I kind of wanted to do the same thing and jump through some shadows and do a little stabby.
Yeah. Do you want to find a new target, or are you going to finish off the one that the Grim is fighting?
Yeah, I kind of want to finish that one off.
All right. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. And what sorts of attacks do you got going on? Looks like you can roll with body or spirit.
Let's do a spirit, because that's better.
All right.
So 6 plus 2, 8.
Cool. So that is a straight down the middle, a mixed success. You're going to deal your harm. They're going to deal theirs. So you stab into them. Your blade is filled with your spiritual energy, with the cursed power coming off of you, and you just fully like jump on this guy's face and stab him to death. Your attack does drain life, but you'll benefit from that on your next attack. It clears the harm you have before the exchange happens. All right, yeah, this hunter goes down in a really, really terrible way. So there's now probably another 3 hunters heading for you all. Zenith is still outside. Wendigo, you have kicked up this snowstorm. You're hearing distant, sort of loud sounds, but you're so far, they're so far removed that it's hard to follow what's happening. What do you want to do? You're still tied up, still in the dark.
Yeah, so now I have to use my my superhuman to try and break these ropes.
All right, let's just call this a body check.
Is it the roll 3, roll 2? What are we doing?
This is just 2 because you're not trying to actively
Okay.
move some magic around.
7.
All right, 7. That is a mixed success. You managed to pull this off. The trade-off is this is super loud. You're tied with some thick, heavy ropes, which they strike you as odd, even as you sort of tear through them, because in fact the ropes don't tear. The chair you're sitting on explodes before the ropes tear. This heavy old wooden chair, and you just flex, and it falls apart into splinters. This rope slides off. You're still in the dark, but something about the rope does strike you as strange. What do you want to do?
Well, gather this rope because I'm probably gonna go hang a hunter real quick.
So
I'm gonna go hang one.
touching the rope, you can feel that there is a almost sort of a buzz of feedback. That sort of overall oppressive sense is there, but it seems like this was specifically messing with you down here. Even sort of your sight comes back to you a little bit. You're not specialized for seeing in the dark, but you can still see relatively well now. It looks like you're in maybe some kind of storm cellar. There's sort of double doors that open up and out at an angle, up some stairs in front of you.
Well, I think the rope's gonna mess with my abilities. I'll probably just grab a leg of the chair since I'm assuming they took my knife. And let's go club some people. I'm gonna I'm gonna try and stealthily, even though I was loudly broke this chair, leave the cellar. Is
Yeah.
my idea.
So we're going to call this, give -1 on this check. It's not full disadvantage. Give me a disappear check -1. It's usually body,
mind?
unless...
Oh, body. Okay, body show. So I get if my body's a +2, then that means it's just a +1 because of the
Yes.
-1. Doing math here. 7.
All right, just enough. So you manage to sort of sneak out. On a mixed success, what I'll tell you is you realize that you're not going to evade observation for long. You have this tiny moment of distraction. Now that the cellar doors are open, you hear screaming. You hear all kinds of like weird sounds. But you burst through. You're out. The night air is sort of. Is it night? Y'all remember what time it is?
I don't remember.
Well,
now.
I came out here at night.
Actually, it might
I
only
don't
be
know why.
afternoon. I don't know why I've been talking night.
I was gonna say, yeah, I thought I got the impression, yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, midday or something.
Sorry, the mid-afternoon sun filtered through your snow sort of falls down around you. The snow is sort of helping you to hide yourself. But there were probably guards who were supposed to be watching you, and they will probably remember what they were supposed to be doing soon. So let's jump back to Zenith. So you tried to investigate the tree. You got shot at. What would you like to do now?
Well, I'm gonna see if I can do. Let's see, like a lightning storm, kind of just in an area around me to maybe I can hit some of the trees and just cause a distraction so they're not paying too much attention to the people inside.
So let me double check. Is your goal to create the distraction or to damage whatever this enchantment is?
The main goal is to damage the trees.
The ones that are like holding the seal?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're going to roll Invoke for lightning magic, which is usually plus Spirit.
Yeah, no plus Spirit.
I'm going to say this is -1 because the seal is still in place.
Yeah.
You find it hard to get your magic moving.
Say -1.
Yeah.
Okay. So oh man. Okay, I got a 9.
All right. Yeah. So you're able to sort of. Actually, what's your mind score? Okay. Oh, -1. So you're at a 7 total. Still good. You're able to.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because your mind is your mind
Was
is
it- that was
-1,
Invoke-
right?
Invoke plus Spirit, though,
Oh,
right?
plus Spirit. Sorry. So
Yeah.
actually then, so that's a 10.
Yeah, I have the advanced roller out, so it already does the math.
Oh, okay, cool. So you manage to sort of piggyback off of this element of cold and snowstorm that the Wendigo has introduced, except now there is lightning moving within it. You sort of focus it down, and it is able to blow apart some of the trees here. Yeah, I think that's enough. I think you're able to blow apart several of the trees, and you feel that sort of oppressive force drop. It actually is very noticeable when it drops, because that snow globe effect ends. without the steel holding it in place, the snowstorm starts to spread out and out away from you all, filling up more space. All right. Good turn from Zenith.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump in the house. Whoever wants to go first, Teddy or Grim?
I got this.
Oh, and I should clarify.
So since
So you're in. It looks like maybe it used to be a bedroom. There's no like long term furniture in here. You see like some sleeping bags thrown down. And the guy that you killed is on the ground. And running down this narrow hallway are three more hunters, armed and sort of coming at you. What do you want to do?
they're coming at me, going down the hallway. Hmm. Do I notice like any light switches around me to turn off the lights?
Um, so there is a light switch. Unfortunately, what I'll tell you is you are you are a dog and Teddy is a toy. You all are not well suited to to turning off light switches.
Dogs can turn off light switches.
I mean, I think with him being so tall, he could just. I mean, as long as he knows to push it down or up, whatever the opposite direction.
I mean, here's what I'll tell you. This is gonna look goofy and it's gonna require a roll.
Just want to make it dark so I can just teleport behind them.
Uh huh. So if you manage to turn this light off, you'll be able to teleport. Um,
Oh, all right, roll. I got
so,
an 8 plus whatever modifier you want.
Let's call this body because this is sort of physical agility.
9.
All right, on a 9, you manage to pull this off. Only Teddy gets to see your sort of embarrassment as you. There's a light switch on the wall. It's not like a fancy light switch. It's sort of. It even looks sort of old school. And you watch as the Grim sort of like rears back like a dog on two legs and like smacks and paws at the wall for a minute. And it takes probably 3 or 4 tries, and then he manages to get it down, plunging the room into darkness. My own dog has, in fact, learned to operate our back door. He can open the back door by himself.
That's fun.
Sometimes it's terrifying because suddenly the door just opens.
It's like the raptors in the first Jurassic Park movie.
Clever hound. All right. You turn the lights off. They are in disarray for a moment. What do you want to do?
Teleport behind them and attack the person in the back.
All right. So they are not as caught off guard as you would expect. Partially because they had a moment to watch you like paw at the light switch. So give me an attack roll with one of your attacks.
Oh, we're using death.
So death is just sort of a bonus thing that's always on.
Oh, gotcha.
Whenever you cause harm to a creature, you gain +1 forward to actions that cause further harm to that creature. You are immune to effects that restrain. That is inexorable.
I rolled a 4. Plus, is it mind rights or is it?
Plus mind or plus body, whichever you'd like.
I got a 6.
All right, that ain't gonna do her. If Teddy has extra essence, he could grant you a bonus, which would push you up to a 7. And because you're a pack hunter, both of you would get +1 forward. So you'd have a bonus on each of your next rolls.
That sounds cool. I have no idea how much essence I have.
That is problematic. It's a very important stat. It's like knowing how many spell slots you have.
Right.
I'm not sure you've used any essence.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
there's very specific things that use it.
Yeah,
But yeah.
you're pretty high efficiency. You don't have any abilities that use. All you have is psychometry, I think, that uses essence, and you've not used that. So yeah, you got a full tank.
I do that thing.
All right. We'll put an X in one of your little essence boxes. So you and the Grim will have +1 on your next roll as well. It's just the next one. But that's enough to push this one up to a 7. So the Grim will deal damage and have damage dealt in return. This one is going to deal 3 harm. Grim, how are you looking? You're taking some hits.
Yeah. It's. We're getting up there.
For those keeping score at home, the Grim just basically went to half health. You are able to latch down on this guy once again. You're tearing in. Your icy magic is sort of flowing over, and he is now partially restrained and very hurt. The good news is, by comparison, these guys are very highly trained. Normally, mundanes are paper thin to you all. You could just tear through them. But these guys are hunters, and they're a little more sturdy. All right, Teddy, what do you want to do?
I kind of want to do the same thing and like shadow step and onto his shoulder and say, "Mommy," and pull out a knife and just stabby in the neck.
Horrible. Yeah, give me an attack roll. That's going to be plus body or plus spirit, and then plus an additional 1.
And that's a 12.
Nice. That is going to be all the things. So, on a 10 or higher, you get an extra effect. You take +1 forward or give +1 forward to someone else. You inflict terrible harm. You suffer less harm, or you force them where you want them. So here's what I'll tell you. This guy's going to die no matter what. So probably
So
you want to give someone an edge, or you want to take less harm.
I want to give someone an edge, and I'll give it to my friend next to me.
All right. So that means that the Grim is going to have +2 on their next roll, and also because you have your cursed draining magic now for your stab, you're going to heal 3 harm. You're going to top back off.
Woohoo!
I still need to figure out how to code a Roll20 character sheet, but I'm doing well just to make a character sheet. So, all right. So one of them is fully dead. There's 2 hunters left in this hallway. Let's jump back to the Wendigo. Wendigo, you are now outside. You are out in the snow. The afternoon sun is sort of filtered through the snowstorm you've created. What do you want to do?
Well, kind of want to charge into the building, grab one of the dead hunters' guns, and shoot them with their own gun.
All right. So yeah, that's pretty easy. So it looks like you popped out. It looks like the cellar you were in was not actually under the house. It was under one of these barns, sort of towards the back. So you've got a little bit of a run through open space to get to the house. Let's call this. I'll let you choose. No, I won't. This is going to be a disappear check first to see how well you can sort of run through the house.
That's mind, right?
Disappear is usually plus body.
You've told me this. I've messed up twice.
No worries. They're all at the bottom
It's
of the
been a long.
character sheet doc. If you want to double check.
I was just keep asking you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna use you as the encyclopedia. +2, 8.
All right, on an 8. Oh, let me think here. So on an 8, I think that you managed to get most of the way into the house. The problem is, I think your compatriots are fighting up on the second floor, and you have come in on the ground floor. There is one guy in your way before you can get up there. What do you want to do?
I just want to start eating him. Like just like grab him, pin him down, and just start eating him. Like just start ripping into like his neck and biting and eating this man.
So you do have +1 ongoing while your powers go. You also have resilient. Let's call this a plus mind or plus body attack roll. Now let's see how well this goes for you.
Well, my rolls have been. It's gonna be a mixed success because plus body's +2. I'm gonna get at least. I want to say it's a 7. This is a 7 roll. It feels like it. I got a 7.
Dang. All right. So I'm going to say that this guy, you tackle him. You're starting to just sort of punch at him. It is not as effective without your knife, but you do still have your ice magic. So as you punch this guy, you're sort of making it harder for him to move. He is going to get a shot off at you. He has some kind of shotgun here. It's a bad range for this weapon, but he manages to kind of get it angled just right. He's going to tag you for 3 harm, reduced to 1 by your armor.
Whew.
This is part of what's terrifying about the Wendigo. Very difficult to kill, and now this guy can't get away from you. All right. Let's go outside to Zenith. What's Zenith up to?
Okay, well, actually, is there any possibility I can use battery powered to heal myself? Like, am I near enough any kind of power source, or would I have to find one first?
Let's see. So here's what I'll say. Yeah, I think this is fair. You're in the midst of a lightning storm that you helped create. So yeah, you're just gonna spend 1 essence and roll plus spirit.
Okay. I got a 10.
All right, dang. That is going to be the full deal. So you have traded your 1 essence for 3 harm. That is almost going to top you back off.
Right? Nope, there we go.
Yeah, if you copy and paste the little boxes, you can like keep them in their colors.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. Yeah, I would have to, just click on the little paint bucket thing or whatever and refind it, but yeah. That makes sense.
For the folks watching at home, we have a very jank sort of
a Google Docs character sheet.
Work in progress.
Right.
Yeah, so it is this very cool moment. Folks are distracted by what's happening inside, but I think you're able to just sort of jump up on top of one of the cars, and all of this lightning that you have seeded into this snowstorm there is a crackle and a sort of blast of thunder, and all these different strands of lightning sort of come together, sort of rolling across the bottom of the cloud, and then bind up and then slam into you, and all of it just is sucked into your tiny form, this sort of house cat sized spirit, and your wounds heal over. There's a little like plink 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 as bits of metal are pushed out of your semi corporeal form. All right, so Wendigo is ripping someone's face off. Zenith just healed. Teddy and the Grim, you are still in an upstairs hallway. Two hunters. There's a dead hunter on the ground. You hear horrible screaming from downstairs. What do you want to do?
Just go and attack the next hunter in line, right? There's 3 coming down. Or I guess I didn't finish my guy off.
No, Teddy did. Teddy teleported onto his shoulder and stabbed him in the face till he died.
So it's time to go to the next guy down the line.
Next guy.
All right, go for it. What do you want to do to him? Just tackle and attack?
What do I want to do? You think I could like teleport coming down on top of the ceiling?
Let's give me an extra check on this. You're not going to have to spend anything, but go ahead and give me a mind or spirit roll with invoke. Probably mind for you. So you still have. So that's actually +4. That puts you all the way up to a 9.
All right.
So that is a success. You get up on the ceiling. This guy is very confused. He has turned around to attack you, and suddenly you are. Do you go for the one right next to you, or the one who was in the front but now is in the back?
The guy in the back.
All right. Yeah, so they're staring at you, and they see you just sort of fade away again. And suddenly you are dropping out of like a shadow up in like the corner of the ceiling, down onto this guy. Give me an attack roll.
Oh, I like that one. That's an 11.
Nice. So you are over a 10. So you get to choose one. Gain the advantage, inflict terrible harm, suffer less harm, or force them where you want them.
Suffer less harm.
All right. So you're going to be able to reduce that to 2 harm as he shoots at you. And you just tear into this guy. You deal your 3 harm. They are freezing over. Teddy, you're up.
I want to go stabby in the foot. That one that he was just attacking.
All right. So you're able to do the same thing. Position is not a huge issue. You are able to just sort of slip into one of the shadows here and appear and just shrink. Give me an attack roll.
7.
All right, 7 is going to hit. Y'all are going to trade some harm. The good news is that you are going to heal 3 before you take 3. So you are at a net 0, and they're dead. You stab through this guy's partially frozen body, and even stabbing into the foot. This shouldn't be lethal, but somehow you've infused this malevolent energy into your knife, and this guy's vitality is just ripped out of him. There's one more hunter upstairs. There's at least one downstairs. Let's jump back to the Wendigo. You've got this guy knocked down. He is restrained. What do you want to do?
I don't have my knife, but I can continue to aim for his neck and try and rip out his throat and eat him.
All
But
right.
we're gonna try to do that.
I'm going to say that you have
Like-
+1, an additional +1, because this guy is restrained now.
All right, so that's body. Seven plus 3, 10.
All right, on a 10, you've got some options. Gain the advantage, terrible harm, less harm, force them where you want them. Here's what I'll say too. If you'd like, you can just use this action to deal your damage and then steal the gun.
Yes, I love that idea.
All right, this guy's looking hurt. He's not quite on the edge of death, but he's hurt. But now he is like frozen to the floor, and you have his gun. This is a
What am I
terrifying
gonna do with it
moment.
next?
This is one of the advantages of being a humanoid, having a human base. You're able to just grab a gun and go. All right, that is going to be a terrifying next turn. Let's jump back. Zenith, you just healed. What do you want to do?
Hmm. It's a good question. I think I'm gonna try my lightning magic to turn off the lights again. Now that I've destroyed the glyphs and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So just give me something for your lightning magic. Looks like plus spirit.
So yeah, invoke plus spirit. So yeah, and I got a 10 again.
All right, on a 10, yeah, you fully. I'm gonna say this is gonna take 1 essence,
Okay.
just because it's a pretty big effect. But
Yeah.
you're able to spend 1 essence, and you just blast the power grid out of this house. It's sort of archaic wiring to begin with, and you just short the whole thing out. So the whole house is plunged into darkness now. So I think I'm actually going to say at this point, the hunters are going to try and beat a retreat here. There's only like maybe 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them left. But now there's no power. The seal is down. The Wendigo has a gun, and there is a tiny doll stabbing people. They are going to pack up and get out of here. So there is a skitter of motion, and you can see this from outside, Zenith, as 4 hunters run out the door, jump in one of the trucks. They're going to try and peel out of here. I'll give you all an option. Who wants to / thinks they can do something about it?
I can use lightning, I guess. Again.
Yeah. Do you want to take a shot at like disabling the vehicle?
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't. I got a 5.
Oof. So, you have really been drawing a lot of electricity, and I think that it has really sort of like oversaturated the area. So instead of calling down the amount of electricity that you're hoping for, instead you call down this sweeping wave of lightning that is going to blow up all of the other trucks. But they are able to escape sort of the blast radius before it hits, and they peel away. So let's take a second and look at what everyone is at, because some of our new feeding rules are about to kick in.
Right.
So Wendigo, you've only spent 1 essence, which is good, but you've taken 4 harm.
Out of 5. I can't figure out how to mark out the last green square because I'm being dumb.
Oh, no worries.
I get 5 harm.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how I made them different colors. I honestly don't remember. At this point, I'm just copying and pasting from one bar to the other. The Grim is pretty hurt. Hasn't used a ton of essence. Zenith is not hardly hurt at all, but has used. You've used quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I used like 3 essence because I had 1 used from last time, and then I used 2 more
Okay.
at least this time.
Teddy is only Teddy's golden. Teddy has used 1 essence total.
It is invincible.
Mommy.
Still horrifying. Still horrifying. So we're going to look at some of the new essence rules here. Does anyone have 3 essence or less?
Like 3 essence left to use, or 3
Yes.
essence used?
Three.
I have 3.
3 or less left.
Yeah,
'Cause I only have 2 essence. Yeah.
All right. So the Grim and Zenith, you are both going to be dealing with a new fun status. You are now drained. This doesn't affect your combat per se. What this does instead is, when you roll a 1 on a die, even if it's a success, if you roll a 1 on a die, you're going to go off the rails a little bit. You have to pick one of your traits or your hunger type and explain in what particular way you are sort of acting out. Does anyone have 1 or less? Is anyone down to their last essence?
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
Cool. In case you're curious, that's worse.
That's the worst thing to happen.
But I will say this: now that you have a chance to like rest out of combat, you can spend essence to heal yourself at a 1-to-1 ratio, unless you have an ability that makes that better.
Mm.
So all this to say, the Grim is you're looking like you might need to feed before the rest of the evening continues, and probably the Wendigo as well. But we'll come back to that in a second. So you all are in this house. There's the wreckage of a bunch of trucks outside. Multiple explosions and unexplained storms have just gone off. What do y'all want to do?
Oh, I like to get out of there so I could go heal up and lick my wounds.
All right.
I would like the opportunity to take a couple of these bodies and disappear with them and consume them.
Yeah. So that is helpful for the Wendigo. You are not going to have to worry about hunting. So let's actually go ahead and we're going to let the Wendigo try out some new systems here. So you're going to roll 2d6 plus your highest stat. I try to be generous with this roll because you're going to need a lot of essence moving forward.
Okay, so 2d6 plus body. Let's do this. And 9.
9. All right. On a 9, you gain 3 essence and add 1 scrutiny. But because you are a hunger feeder, you're actually going to gain 4 points of essence, and 2 points of scrutiny. So if you would like, I'm going to create a new box for that now. You can also go ahead and spend some of those to heal your wounds.
So I got 4 essence, right? Yeah,
Yep.
4 essence. So I guess I'll use 1 to replace the essence I burned throughout the fight, and then I guess use the other 3 to regain some HP. If I used to be able to do this.
So just a quick rundown for scrutiny. This is a new stat I've put together to help explain why and when hunters are going to come after you. So if you go hunting in the future, you have to sort of figure out how you're going to do that. And then once you get to that point, you'll roll a scrutiny check, which is 2d6 minus the amount of scrutiny you currently have. On a 1 through 6, you draw immediate and unwelcome attention. On a 7 through 9, you experience complications from mundanes. On a 10 plus, you manage to avoid attention altogether. I might end up eventually skewing that number. It might start off at 2d6 plus 2. But we'll see how that goes. All right. So the Wendigo feeds, is able to heal. Grim, are you wanting to feed and heal?
Yeah.
So you are an awe feeder. So on awe, so you have to feed by returning to sort of one of your sites of power, or in some way acting on whatever it is you do that sort of impresses and inspires humans. So it seems like your aspect is associated with death and mourning. So we'll keep this sort of broad. If you can think of something that doesn't involve going back to one of the cemeteries, you are welcome to do that too. So what are you thinking?
So so you said like on people's feelings, right?
So specifically, let me just send you this. I'll just read this text. Awe. Most of the entities that are beloved or at least liked by mundane humans feed on feelings of belief, awe, or worship. For some beings like deities, these can be explicit acts of worship like prayer or ritual. For others, it can simply be a profound sense of appreciation. Angels, guardian spirits, and local deities commonly draw their essence from awe. While technically awe is generated continuously and passively, creatures who draw from it spend as much or more time providing blessings or other positive encounters or maintaining their shrines and places of power. And you regain more essence the higher your scrutiny gets, but the more likely you are to have something happen. In your case,
Yeah.
you're less likely to have a hunter come after you, and more likely to have similar entities come after you to quit making a fuss.
I think. Will I be able to get more healing if I go to one of my cemeteries?
It's really more narrative. The role is basically going to be the same.
Can't think of anything creative right now, off the top of my head.
So, just to give another example, you could potentially show up where someone is like in the process of passing, and sort of be with them, make yourself visible to them. You could stop someone who is being a grave robber. This is a little more loosey goosey narrative, more so than mechanical.
Gotcha. So the first thing I'm gonna do is so we're in the afternoon, so we're like late afternoon, so I don't think there's quite people grave robbing at this time. So there could be a funeral or passing. Or I guess, is there any like hospitals close by?
Yeah, you wouldn't be terribly far. This is a big metropolitan city, tons of hospitals.
Sweet. So we'll go in there and then go to the pretty much the ICU area where like the intensive care where it's like, well, he could make it, he could not. We got like some of our best nurses and doctors on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just go in there and just watch people kind of pass and do their thing.
Yeah. Give me a. I'll let you decide. This could be an invoke check as you sort of fulfill your role as this sort of death guardian figure. It could be a disappeared check to stay hidden, or it could be like a manipulate check to sort of comfort or sort of influence someone.
I think it's going to be a manipulate check
Yeah.
for comforting people passing.
So that'll be plus heart.
Oh, that's probably the worst one I could have picked. It is the worst one I could have picked.
I'll say this: you could do something similar with plus mind, but you're doing it more magically than with charisma.
It doesn't matter. That's so with mine it's a 4. Or with heart it's a 1.
Oof. Um. Well, hey, so this is actually perfect, because you rolled double ones, and you are at less than half essence, right?
Yeah,
Or you have less than three.
I have exactly 3 essence left.
Okay, let me see how I wrote that. Is it 3 or less, or exactly 3? 3 essence or less. You are drained. So this is really fun. So each feeding type has a different thing that happens if they botch uh, if they botch this roll. um, yeah. So here's the good news. You're still gonna gain. You're gonna gain an essence. Um, sorry, you're gonna gain 2 essence. Um, actually, you might get even more than this. So that's 1 scrutiny. So you're going to gain 2 scrutiny and 2 essence. And I'm going to get you your own little scrutiny bar here. Steal the one I made for the Wendigo. So you sort of lose control, and you don't just become visible. You cause like a minor miracle to happen in this moment. Some kind of like supernatural manifestation of your power. What does that look like? This is something that is maybe not obvious to everyone, but like 5 to 10 people see this. What do they see?
So they see like a big black wolf creature just appear out of nowhere, and you just, oh, appear out of nowhere and just like astonishes them. That it is like no one saw me come in there. The next thing they know, there's a big black wolf. Just kind of like nuzzling like one of the people that are like perishing away.
Can I throw a little sauce on this?
Yeah.
So this person, you're sort of nuzzling at them. You have become visible. You're sort of nuzzling at them, and what these people see is this person's like spectral ghost, like steps out of their body and stands next to you and like puts a hand on you, and the two of you like walk through a wall and disappear. And now there's going to be stories about the Black Dog of Death in the ICU of this hospital as like an urban legend. And you didn't get quite as much as you would have, but you can tell that this extra attention is making you stronger, even if it's something you normally try to avoid. All right. So you all have had a chance to feed.
How much harm would that take away?
So you're going to have to spend essence to remove harm. So if you
So
go
how
ahead
much
if you go ahead and spend the 2 you just got, it'll put you back to 5 harm.
We will probably do that.
All right. So I would say now it is probably getting into the evening. We'll say that your meeting at the docks is probably like 8ish. What do you all want to do? Is there anything else you want to take care of? Anything else you want to look into before you go to meet with them?
That's been trashed. I kind of want to investigate the hunters a little bit.
I
Kind of
was gonna
figure out
say, I was curious, like,
how they're kind of
like,
on my trail.
Yeah.
like glance to the house and see how they knew about us, or yeah,
And
like,
or
oh.
not find their headquarters because I might want to just get more of them. I
So-
want to hunt hunters, apparently.
So there is a little bit of this vibe of like hunters are sort of like cockroaches. Like you can keep stepping on them and there will always be more. So give me a study check.
Like a mind.
Yes.
All right. And that's an 11.
Nice. So let's put this in with our official sort of study action. So you get to ask 3 questions. Let's see what is appropriate here. Oh, we can go. We'll make this broader. What are or sorry, 2 questions. What are 2 questions you want to ask?
One, what tipped them off to hunt me or my hunting feeding habits, like on picking on homeless? That's how they got me.
Yeah. So um, you're sort of thinking back and like, how did this happen? What did I miss? And you know, you've been feeding this way for years. You're very careful. You go to different places. But one thing you know about hunters, just from being an entity, is they are very, very good at putting together patterns. And even though you make sure that the bodies aren't found, there are still people who knew that those people existed in town. And it's not as fast as if they had found the body, but eventually things like people who work in like homeless shelters and soup kitchens and social workers and like local police, you know, obviously they don't think like, oh, what if someone ate that person? But they do just sort of file it away somewhere. And now that so much information is digitized, it's a lot easier for someone to go through and look and say, huh, the homeless population in this town has dropped like, you know, there are X number of unexplained disappearances in this town over a certain amount of time. You think they were able to reverse engineer it through that. Once they know to start looking, there's traffic cameras, there's surveillance cameras, there's just all kinds of things that make it a little bit harder for you to move in and out of the city completely unnoticed. What is your second question?
I picked their base of operations.
So, a lot of times, a hunter's base of operations is very far from the territory they work in. So they might hear of something from like across the country and go check it out. So you're trying to sort of reverse engineer where this particular group of hunters came from?
I kind of want to hunt them a little bit.
Yeah, so a couple different layers. On one level, their like place that they're really sort of working out of is somewhere out in the Midwest. It is nowhere close to where you're at. These folks drove days and days to come put a bullet in your butt. On a more local level, though, you did just take out their base. This group they were operating out of that farmhouse, and you took out about half of them. The last piece is you do know there's 4 of them still around, and they're not the only ones who can hunt. A lot of the same things they use to track you down, you're going to be able to use to track them down. So if you start looking into things like surveillance cameras and, hitting the streets for sort of your, hitting the streets of your different contacts and things, you'll probably be able to figure out where they've gone to ground. Do you want to send the ratlings out to figure it out?
Yeah, tell them keep their distance. Try to be stealthier than I was apparently, and yeah, but let me find them.
So this also connects with a new mechanic, this scrutiny mechanic. You all are now going to be able to do things to actively reduce your presence. So you're not just like guessing when they're going to show up, but you can do things like you can develop a false identity to sort of conceal that you're not, to conceal that you're not human. You can manipulate local journalism or like take over like a government office and make sure that reports and statistics disappear. These are all going to be called fronts, and it's going to be a kind of territory that you all. Sorry, I disconnected for a second. So it's one of your sort of back burner goals to hunt them down.
Hunt them down, but also like get high up in the office so that I can blockade their way of getting information without trying to get too much attention from them. If I sit on top of them, all they can see is my turds, and I can keep a closer eye on them.
crap raining down on them from a great height.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before the next time we come back and run some of this game, I'll have a sort of better territory map for you all. And you can kind of pick a territory to go and set up a front. And that'll let you sort of actively manipulate information. All right, Teddy, what are you doing?
I was kind of wanting to expand the territory a little bit too.
Yeah. So what kind of territory are you interested in? Let me give you the list. Different things territories can do for you. There are resource territories. This is what the Wendigo was doing before. These are territories where you can set up basically businesses and generate resources to spend on other stuff. There are fronts where you can actively work to reduce your profile and lower your level of scrutiny. There are essence territories, which will raise everyone's maximum essence. Those are super well defended and are probably not... Those aren't going to be quick to take. There's also territories that grant mundane assets. And territories that grant supernatural assets. Why do I have this one on here twice? Yeah, so what kind of territory sounds like what you'd be interested in?
A territory that would grant supernatural assets.
All
Sounds
right.
cool.
So you're able to do some research on this, and there's a lot of independent factions at work. Hearing weird sounds from upstairs. So there's a lot of independent factions out there. Oh, that's what that other thing was for. I just figured it out. So yeah, there's independent factions. There's like powerful individuals. You sort of started this way. Functionally, you sort of started as a supernatural asset for the rest of the group and sort of became a full clan member when they recruited you. Are you looking for like a troop, which would be like a group of them, or like a single powerful lieutenant, or something that's more sort of esoteric? There's also sites of power, which can provide sort of unique effects and bonuses.
Let's go with site of power.
All right. There is a territory fairly close by. It's another one of those like rural, suburban kind of places. One of those places where like you would say you're from New Athens, but people who are actually from New Athens would be like, "No, you're from Greenbrier." There's a place like that, and one of Zenith's counterparts is a local deity of healing. There was a shrine where people would come and would basically come and like offer up prayers and rituals and offerings, hoping for some kind of supernatural healing. Eventually, a hospital was built there, and the hospital thrived for decades and decades, and then it was like bought by some kind of like health management chain, and they consolidated hospitals, and ultimately it got shut down. So now there's this abandoned hospital and this shrine in a nearby area. Does that sound like what you're looking for?
Perfect.
All right, give me a study check. And kind of tell me, how do you want to investigate this? As a creepy doll, Are you physically like gonna visit in person and check it out, or are you doing some more sort of abstract research, maybe through word of mouth or tomes or something?
No, I would go in person. Yeah.
All right. And what is your mind? Mind is -1.
-1, so it's 6 total.
Oh, on a 6. I'm going to put a pin in it for now, but remind me, or maybe make a note somewhere on your character. So you go to investigate this territory. I'll add it to the notes down here. Call it Decrepit Shrine of Healing. And I can't spell decrepit. There we go. Abandoned hospital building. Your investigation has tipped off whatever faction currently controls this area. It is not a powerful faction. You can tell there's a presence when you move into a territory that helps you understand like who's in charge. It's not a powerful presence, but whoever it is knows you're coming now. So we'll come back to that. Yes. So your meeting with the Deep Ones is coming up. You all are able to sort of reconvene. How are you going to get to the docks? This is more just narrative. Like, do you all carpool with, with the Wendigo driving a minivan, or what's the transit situation?
I'm gonna steal a little kid's tricycle.
Oh no! I hate it. I hate it.
Like in Saw or whatever.
Little Barbie remote control car.
Just the worst. Oh.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
do
probably
grab myself there.
Whew. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I've got to recenter my whole world. Zenith, what are you saying?
I was probably just gonna get there the way I did before, like through the back alleys and stuff, like walking there.
Cool.
Wait, you don't want to show up in a minivan?
All right. So we have creepy tricycle. We have cat wandering through the alleys. What else?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Grim also wants to use a tricycle.
I'm talented, but not that talented.
That would take a very high body roll.
Think
Which is worse, a tricycle or an ice cream truck?
Creepy doll and ice cream truck.
well, I think I will just stick to my chances, just walking there in the shadows.
All right. So we have the tricycle. Yeah. So you and Zenith are sort of padding through the shadows. Wendigo, what are you doing? You can pass for human. You're the only one in this whole group that can just like be like, I just walk, or I take the subway, or whatever.
I was saying I was taking my minivan.
All right. So you all arrive. The docks have a sort of I don't know. There's sort of an oily feel to it. Um, like the magic here, the sort of supernatural power has a sort of slickness to it, which puts you very much in the mind of like handling like an eel or something, something with a strange waterproof coating to it. Um, yeah. So you all are meeting a representative of the Deep Ones is going to basically be coming ashore because we established last time the hybrids are the ones who are kind of actually working. Um, and the Deep Ones sort of are commanding them from the waters in the bay. So there is a creepy, sort of ominous warehouse. I'm gonna let one of you give the detail. Um, what's a detail that makes the warehouse creepier?
On the docks, I'm gonna say probably the amount of blood everywhere. You can't tell what blood it is because it gets processed by a lot of fish. There's like blood, random bits of guts just kind of piled up in random spots because people forgot to clean them up or they didn't get cleaned up. And so it just has that overall feel of death in it. There's just blood and guts everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna.
I think you recognize as an eater of uh, things other than fish. You recognize that not all of this is fish remains. It seems like other things have been mixed in here. Um, yeah. Zenith, what did you want to add?
Oh, I was gonna say like there's like some kind of weird like dark green, almost black stuff like on the walls or whatever. Like I'm not quite sure what it is, but it looks like it doesn't belong there or whatever.
Yeah, there's something sort of running down the walls. Um, a human would look at that and go, "That's got to be some kind of like fungus, maybe some kind of
Yeah,
like waterborne
algae.
algae." Yeah, it's definitely not. You know that this is something else. This is something the Deep Ones are marking their territory with, the same way that you mark with the graffiti tags. Um, so you all roll up. There are a lot of like burly, like dock worker looking types, but you notice that a lot of them are dressed a little too heavily, and there is a surprising preponderance of turtlenecks, um, going like tucked up right under the chin, almost like you would if you needed to conceal perhaps gills on the side of your neck. Um, these folks are standing around almost a little, not quite brainlessly, but they have a stillness that you would associate with like either the most absolutely disciplined of like security guards, or like an automaton that is waiting for new orders. Um, so you see them sort of standing at different places. Some of them are by different doors. There's 4 or 5 of them arranged in kind of a semicircle, and in the center of it is a huge, hunched, bloated creature. Um, it has the sort of elongated limbs that you associate with the Wendigo, except where the Wendigo is spindly and sort of almost skeletal. This thing is bloated. Um, it has that sort of slick look to it. It's not wearing any clothes, but there's nothing that would be traditionally concealed anyway. Um, it has sort of the worst qualities of like a deep sea fish and a frog, and it's sort of like sitting hunched over Think sort of like Slavic gangster memes. That's sort of how it's sitting, but it's like leaned over more, and its back is sort of inflated and hunched. It looks up at you all, and it smiles, and its mouth is just full of needle sharp teeth. Countless needle sharp teeth. So, what is your all's approach here? Just a reminder. So last time, over the last few sessions, Zenith and Grim have sort of unraveled that the Deep Ones have been pushing into your territory because werewolves are pushing them out of their territory. Set up in part by the vampire versus werewolf war that you all personally started. So what's your play here? What's your goal?
Well, I guess I, I was thinking, yeah, that we didn't really want to have to waste resources fighting these guys if we could just help them uh, fight off the werewolves. Maybe we could have kind of a truce of sorts that we don't bother them and then they don't bother us.
Cool. So sort of an alliance of convenience.
Yeah.
At least a mutual disregard pact. So that
Yeah.
you all can focus on other territories. All right. Does anyone want to do anything else or situate themselves anywhere else?
No, because I don't think we want to seem like threatening, like we're gonna like just all attack them at once.
Yeah. So the Deep Ones have only sent this one representative with these sort of hybrid attendants. But you all can also tell that this creature is a little bit more powerful than you all. The hybrids are weaker than each of you. But this thing, it would probably take a couple of you to bring this thing down. And it would not be easy. So, there are... the creature makes a noise like... and you hear no discernible words. But very quickly, a couple of these Deep One hybrids in their turtlenecks, they go and they grab like a table and they run it over and set up like appropriate seats for each of you, including they have gotten like a high chair from somewhere, but they've like carved it out a little bit to look a little bit less like a high chair. And they have just put like a little cat bed on part of the table for Zenith.
That's great.
So y'all are able to sort of take your places here. The creature regards you. It has made this weird noise. So it's a little shocking when it suddenly speaks in like not just a normal voice, but like a surprisingly like deep and pleasant voice. Almost like it almost suddenly talks like an Idris Elba or like a Morgan Freeman. Greetings, Greenbrier clan. I understand that you have come to my subordinates with perhaps an offer of, if not alliance, then certainly a pact of non-interference in light of the tumultuous times for our city.
Yes.
Are are the non-humanoids able to communicate, I guess, with other non-mundanes, or what do you want to call them?
Yes, so you all are able to communicate with each other, no problem. But if you have to talk to humans, it gets a little weird.
Okay. Yeah, we were thinking we could, help you guys with the werewolves and whoever else are trying to encroach on your territory. If there's any specific group you wanted to send us at.
The creature regards you with this sort of inhuman gaze. Some of you are bestial creatures, some of you are object people. I don't know that you've ever interacted with a weird sort of Lovecraftian deep sea fish person. The eyes don't give a lot away. Whoever would like to, give me a study check.
So that would be mind.
Yes.
I got a 3.
Anyone else? I'll say this. So remember that on low rolls, bad things will happen. So you
Alright.
always take that risk.
Like the rest things, right? I got a 7.
All right. So on your 7, I have a 40-pound dog climbing on me. On your 7, your impression is that this deep one is being sincere. Intruding into your all's territory was a panic move. Mechanically, you all understand that you have to have a certain ratio of essence producing territories to continue to grow in power. So even if you accumulate experience, if you don't have the territories for it, you won't improve. What's worse than that, though, is if you start losing territories, your advancement stops. And eventually, your abilities will start to roll back in the order in which you added them. So entities that lose essence territories tend to get very desperate very fast. So it seems like they are dealing in good faith here. On that 3, though, from outside you hear. You hear the howling of wolves.
Puppy?
Immediately, the Deep One hybrids turn from facing you all to forming like a ring around the Deep One, facing out towards the walls. What do you all want to do?
Well, we better put our word or our mouth where our words at, or our actions where our mouth is at. I forget the saying. I'll be honest.
Right. Put our game faces on.
I want to
Do
try
you
to
want to
disappear.
attack the werewolves?
I'm guessing they're werewolves.
So yeah, you're hearing this sort of howling from outside. What do you all want to do? Do you want to head outside? Do you want to like set up sort of defensive positions?
I'm gonna go set a defensive position around the leader.
Yeah, you're able to sort of take your place in sort of this ring. At first, the hybrids move to stop you, and the Deep One basically gestures and they let you sort of take up a position. What do the rest of you want to do?
So I'll probably try to sneak out and see if I can scout and see like where they're coming from or how many there are.
Excuse me. Yeah, so you're able to. They're going to let you pass outside. Give me a disappear check first.
Is that body?
Yes, unless you want to spend essence to use invisibility.
I'm already at 2, so I don't want to see what 1 does. I got a 7.
All right, on a 7. Most things would not be able to notice you. You do know that some werewolves have heightened senses, and so you're not sure that you're hidden from everything. But you are able to sort of move outside and kind of get a glimpse. There are things moving sort of rapidly, like flitting between places of cover out there in the dark of the docks. On a 7, you get the feeling that there is there's probably only 3 or 4 of these things out there.
Oh, I'm assuming werewolves are probably pretty tough, so
Yes, you definitely know. Werewolves are very notoriously tough to kill.
only 3 or 4 would be like only 3 or 4 Wendigos.
Does anyone else want to do anything?
I want to use my perfect imitation to try to appear as an ordinary object near the closest door.
Yeah. So the rest of you, this is distressing to watch. Teddy just goes over and I don't know, like your brain knows that Teddy is a supernatural entity. But as soon as Teddy sort of situates himself over there, he looks like an abandoned doll. Just perfectly limp. Almost to the point of like, it's hard to tell if this is great acting or is some kind of like psychological influence happening, some kind of actual magical influence.
So it's like Toy Story when Woody goes all limp.
Yes,
Exactly what I'm thinking of.
yeah, it's distressing to see. All right, what is the Wendigo doing? Do we have the Wendigo? Is the Wendigo on mute? All right, we'll assume that he is plotting something big. So from your position outside, Zenith, you can see as there's a guard standing up on top of like stacked like cargo containers. They form sort of like little alleys and little spaces back and forth. Wendigo says his mic is being dumb. And there's a guard standing up on top, and something briefly silhouetted in the moonlight jumps up this superhumanly high jump, snatches this guy, and then disappears down below. you start to hear not the sound of screams. That almost makes it worse. I think Zenith, you hear this because you're outside. You hear this sort of wet, shredding sound. Imagine someone like putting a very powerful microphone next to someone pulling apart like very thin like raw chicken. There's just like a wetness to it, and a tearing sound. You see the Deep One hybrid guards try to converge on that spot, as probably a dozen of them run in that direction. You see two of the werewolves running straight at you in the door you just came out of. What do you want to do?
I want to attack with Holy.
So they're still outside. So they haven't actually made it inside yet.
Yeah, I think he was maybe
Zenith
they're running
outside.
at. Yeah, so they're running at me, but yeah, nobody else can see him yet. I'll try a lightning attack, my whatever invoke plus spirit attack. Yeah, come on. My internet froze. Oh, there we go. 11.
On an 11, so this huge creature is going by. On an 11, that is grant an advantage, more harm, less harm, or move it where you want it. What's your goal?
More harm.
All right. And how much do you do normally?
What does it say? Do they say because it's lightning attack? Wait, right? No, lightning magic.
So you can add a lightning attack, although you didn't actually. Yeah, you took lightning attack. So you add that to your natural weapons. So bite or claw.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was wanting to do ranged, like lightning magic ranged, but it doesn't have like an obvious.
So you can do lightning attack at range. Basically, it'll be like you know how like in Pokemon when they use one of the elemental bite attacks, it just like does an animation at a distance.
Okay.
That's what it looks like if you use lightning attack with your bite. It's like lightning jaws will form at a distance and clamp down. Which would be good, because that would mean that they're not going to be able to bite you back. They'll probably be able to claw you, but not bite you. Oops.
So I guess it'd be 3 harm normally, and then with an 11, what would that do?
So you said you wanted to deal additional harm. So the way that's going to work is they're going to hit you for 2 harm, and you're going to hit them for 4 harm, reduced to 2, because they have 2 armor.
Oh. Wait, I thought armor only protected against physical attacks.
Armor is any kind of damage.
Oh, okay.
All right, this thing takes this hit, takes a little bit of damage, and it crashes through the door. The rest of you see it enter now. This thing is probably, if it was standing straight up and down, it'd probably be 8 feet tall. But it has a little bit of a forward hunch, which makes it about 6 feet tall, but with a like loping length to it. No visible clothing, just this shaggy, massive body with a lupine head. Claws that you can see at a distance. They are massive. Huge, digitigrade paws. Just send it loping across the distance. It is charging. What does someone else want to do?
I want to just study it to see if there's any weaknesses I can exploit.
All right, go for it.
That's a mind. I think that's negative for me. This is gonna be really bad. 2.
Oh no. um,
Oof.
so the first one rushes past you. You're sort of by the door. But as you try to study it, you like turn your head just a little bit. Which is why the second one through the door sees you move, sort of breaking your perfect imitation, and is going to smack you with a paw. The good news is it's going to smack you. It's going to like send you rolling because you don't have a lot of mass. But you have 2 armor, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, you don't have armor. Why do I think you have armor? I feel like armor is the only ancient trait you didn't take. Ancient. Oh no. Oh yeah, you didn't take timeless, which is 1 armor. So it's going to smack you for 2 harm and sort of send you rolling. What is the Wendigo doing? What is the Grim doing?
So as the first guy comes through, I'm gonna attack the first guy.
All right.
And we're gonna use Holy. I got a 9.
Nice. So these 2 massive lupine forms collide in midair. Is Holy's probably close enough. You are able to bite into this creature, channeling this magic, this holy magic of sort of sanctified death. You channel it into this creature, and let's see, on a 9, give me an invoke check. This is just to see how well your banishing property works.
That was 2d6 plus.
Let's see, plus spirit.
Sweet, that's 10.
On a 10, this works perfectly. So the werewolf is not as, the little trash can tonicky raccoons that you fought earlier were more like spirits. This thing is a monster, but it has a physical form. But when you hit it with this banishing, you brand a symbol into it. Like, as you bite in, you tear a part of it. As your jaws come away, there is these glimmering golden motes around it. And then on each side of its body where you bit into it, like a rune forms. Like a symbol is branded onto it. And it does not like the effect. You are going to take... it is going to bite you back, and it is going to bite hard. Oof, this isn't fun. It is going to bite you for 3.
Mm.
All right. So you all see these 2 lupine forms just crashing in midair, jaws tearing at each other. Wendigo, what do you want to do? It occurs to me that his mic might still not be working.
He can type it. What he wants to do.
Still not working. in one word, tell us what you want to do, and then roll it. This epic descriptor of combat. Any second now. I lift high my mighty magic sword and I cry, thunder, thunder, thunder. Um, all right. We'll say that you can find a knife by now if you wanted it. So just roll attack. It's a 9. It's going to be plus body, so that's a 10 plus. So I think that that's going to be enough. So this is going to be, we'll call it 3 harm. It's going to deal 1 harm back to you. Here's the choice I'll give you. Would you rather freeze it in place, but it's going to continue to fight, or let it run away now that it's been hit with this sort of brand from the Grim? We're typing. We're typing. Freeze it in place. No witnesses. Nice. So this creature, the holy magic is trying to press it to escape, but it is now frozen in place and it cannot get away from you. The other werewolf is trying to attack. That one is trying to free itself. The Deep One hybrid and the other werewolf are going to start sort of tearing at each other. The Deep One hybrid is scary. When it has these big like webbed hands, but apparently the strange fingers at the end of each webbed bit are razor sharp at the end. But when they scratch, you know this. Most kinds of vampires, or not vampires, most kinds of werewolves, they just bleed red blood. So it's distressing as this thing cuts into the werewolf. The werewolf starts bleeding that black, slick sludge that Zenith noticed on the walls earlier. It looks bad. So let's go back to Zenith outside. The other werewolf emerges. It's a little bit torn up, but of the dozen Deep One hybrids that went after it, you see nothing. It's now also racing towards the door. What do you want to do?
I'll just snap it with lightning.
All
Maybe.
right.
Oh, I got an 8.
Vat of stuff that can spill out, or some machinery that can do some harm.
Yeah. I think that probably your best bet is there is a some kind of crane apparatus in here that is meant for like moving like large containers around, and it is sort of up in the air in sort of like a locked and resting position. This is a pretty big thing. Let's roll invoke plus heart.
Oh, you take an 8.
On an 8, yeah, I think that this thing is going to come down. I think it doesn't come down quite where you want it. It like, this is magic meant to short circuit things. This is like the weight of time pressing down on mechanical devices. This thing lets out a terrible groan. A patchwork of rust just sort of flows over it, and there's a loud like. A huge piece of it, like it's got like a 3-part folding arm. The lower 2 parts just detach and fall. It's going to fall where the deep one and the werewolf were fighting. The deep one and leaps backwards. One of the deep one hybrids is going to get hit by it as it comes down, but it's also going to smack into the werewolf. I'm going to say the deep one hybrid is dead. The werewolf is very hurt. This did not go the way they planned. Who wants to go next? Probably Grim.
I can.
There's one frozen in place, one that's not particularly hurt, and one that just got hit by this giant crane and is not doing great now.
Well, I mean, that makes 2 of us not technically doing great either. That's the scary part. 'Cause I'm 1 hit away from being maxed out on harm.
That's not great. You might just want to take cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Anything?
Hello?
Oh, there's a
Hey.
bush.
Hey, it's a Wendigo. You could just shadow walk and remove yourself from the range of combat.
I might do that.
Yeah.
They hit at least 3 harm, and
Yeah.
I can't take 3 harm.
Doesn't even need a roll. You just and you are gone. You're now sort of lurking in the shadows in a far corner of the warehouse. So these things are very hurt. In celebration of your might coming back, Wendigo, what do you want to do?
So for the wolf that kind of got frozen in place, is it possible to step back, find something that's like the first encounter with the vampire ripped up a tree and smashed him with a tree? Is there any substantial object that I can pick up with try to pick up the superhuman and smash him?
Hey, good news. A giant chunk of crane just fell from the ceiling.
Well, I'm gonna try to smash this wolf with a giant chunk of crane.
So attack plus body. This is very unwieldy. If this goes wrong, it's going to go very wrong. But if it hits, you're just going to smush this thing into paste.
Well, we are going to have some fun with this. So attack plus body, so that's a +2. Come on. And 7. I got a 9.
9. Nice. This thing is going to manage to lash out, but it's partially restrained. You have armor. Its claws don't find any purchase. And in exchange, you take this piece of crane that is just solid metal, bigger than you, and you just violate the heck out of this thing's OSHA, and you blast it through the wall. There is a cartoon wolf-shaped indent in the crane, and this thing just that wolf is super dead. I think the morale is breaking. So I'll give you all the same deal. These things are going to try and flee. Do you want to try and stop them or let them go?
Well, we kind of have to stop them due to the fact that they know we're here. and they were talking to the fish people. So if we don't stop them, then we now have werewolves to deal with on top of all our problems, and they're pretty strong. You know,
All right.
just a thought.
I'll give you a devil's bargain here. I know you're pretty low on essence. If you drop a snow day here, you can make sure they don't escape.
Deal.
All right. Roll plus mind.
Hold up, McAfee wants me again. Ever buy a laptop with McAfee? It's the most annoying thing in the world. 8, 9.
Nice. That's all you need. So you burn this essence. You feel this rising hunger inside you. You have burned so much energy today. But the cold and ice just roars outward, and the doors just sort of ice over. Swirling wind and snow pours in through the hole in the wall. They go to flee, and the howling wind actually pushes them back. And you all descend, and it is a horror movie of monsters versus monsters. And you all shred this thing. These werewolves are torn apart by this horde of horrifying creatures, each as monstrous as it. So as the sort of dust clears here, you realize that this might not have been as simple as you thought it was. Because suddenly you hear sirens. The sound of police cars drawing close. Not just one or two, but what sounds like a half dozen rolling up, not quite at your door, but drawing close. And I think this is where I'm going to leave us. This sort of frozen tableau, there are 3 shredded werewolf corpses. There is a dead Deep One hybrid inside. There are a dozen or more dead Deep One hybrids outside. A crane has been ripped from the ceiling and knocked a hole in the wall. There are 6 different kinds of monsters in this room, and a half dozen police cars are seconds away. So imagine the swirling snow is painted in the red and blue lights of approaching squad cars, and all of our monsters are frozen in place. And that's right where we'll pick up next time we come back to Ghosts in the Dark. It'll be a minute, because we go back to Drakkenheim next week. But thank you to folks who hung out with us. Thanks to the folks who will hopefully check this out later. And thanks to you all for trying out my janky work in progress, even as I rebuilt the plane under your feet. So hopefully this game will be coming out. I genuinely don't know. We'll try to have more playtests in the future. I'll probably start releasing little snippets of things. But in the meantime, that's it for Ghosts in the Dark. And we'll catch you all later. Bye, Internet.
Bye.
Stream is stopping.